Hello and thanks for joining us. This is the Signature TV News Update. I am Marvelous Bowman. Now in the headlines, civil society organization launches a project to address age-long political, economic and cultural marginalization of the original inhabitants of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies moved to strengthen the capacity of parliamentary staff. The Central Bank of Nigeria says food imports gulped 1.04 billion naira in 6 months. And now the details. The Resource Center for Human Rights and Civic Education, CHRICED, has launched a 2-year project to address the age-long political, economic and cultural marginalization of the original inhabitants of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. The Executive Director, Resource Center for Human Rights and Civic Education, Ibrahim Zakrilahi, while declaring the event open on Monday in Abuja, said there are several injustices to the original inhabitants of the Federal Capital Territory, which needs to be addressed, especially in the area of resettling and compensation. The report. The project, supported by MacArthur Foundation, saw government officials, traditional rulers, and other stakeholders gather at the Transcorp Hilton, Abuja, to launch the project, which will run for 2 years. The Executive Director, Resource Center for Human Rights and Civic Education, Ibrahim Zakrilahi, said the movement of the nation's capital city from Lagos to Abuja have deprived the original inhabitants of their ancestral land and disrupted their cultural heritage. He regretted that the developmental plan of the Federal Capital Territory Administration have created huge economic burden to the original inhabitants.
Wherever you go outside the beautiful city of Abuja, it is an eyesore. People are living in squalor. There is completely no formal education that you can say is existing there. You see a school of about 500, 600 population having only 1 or 2 teachers. So these are things that this project will seek to address. And in doing this, we want to structure the struggle of the original inhabitants in such a way that the government will be forced to listen.
The Africa Director, MacArthur Foundation, Kole Shetima, said the foundation released $2 million to help original inhabitants of the Federal Capital Territory to respond to some of the challenges they have experienced because of the pandemic, and also open them up to political opportunities.
When we have this opportunity, and that's why we set up this fund, about $2 million that we are giving to an organization here in Abuja to help to see how they can help the original inhabitants of Abuja to respond to some of the challenges they have experienced as a result of the pandemic. And of course, we're also thinking that given the opportunity that have been created by the constitutional review process in the country, maybe it's an opportunity whereby we can bring their own issues into the political forum as well. For example, issues around representation, around elected officials and other things. We thought that maybe this is an opportunity for the original inhabitants to organize themselves and try to see how they can insert themselves into the constitutional reform process.
The Minister of State, Federal Capital Territory, Ramatu Tijani Aliyu, said the administration is in support of the preservation and protection of rights of the original inhabitants, and negotiations are ongoing to resettle them.
The Federal Capital Territory Administration, under the leadership of Malam Muhammad Musa Bello, has taken it upon itself to ensure that the rights of the original inhabitants are not denied them, which is why we have opened a free channel of communication with them through periodic physical engagement with our officials. The second of this type of meeting comes up tomorrow, mainly on resettlements and compensation.
Lois Alta, an advocate for the senior citizens of Nigeria and founder of Cedar Seed Foundation, expressed optimism that the Resource Center for Human Rights and Civic Education will ensure that persons with disability will be carried along.
I'm so proud of this project today because I know that CHRICED is going to make sure that persons with disabilities are being carried along in this project. I want to see us move from the rural communities to smart cities, from smart cities to inclusive cities.
Though resettlement, land grabbing, and adequate compensation are some of the challenges facing the original inhabitants, but the statement of the Minister of State for FCT shows that government is working to address these challenges. In Abuja, Marvelous Obama for Signature TV. The National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies, in collaboration with the management of the National Assembly, has organized a capacity building workshop for parliamentary staff in the Senate to strengthen their capacity in legislative and administrative support. The 3-day workshop, which targets to upgrade the practices of the Nigerian parliamentary staff to match with the globally accepted norms and conventions, kicked off on Monday, the 23rd of August in Abuja. In a bid to sanitize and rid the nation's capital city from illegal structures, the Federal Capital Territory Administration (FCTA) has again demolished buildings and shops illegally mounted on the roadside of Mpape community, a suburb of the Federal Capital Territory. This is the third time the FCTA task force will be coming to the Mpape community for demolition. Signature TV correspondent Brenda Etta was at the community to feel the pulse of the residents.
The leader of the FCTA task force, Atta Ikar, said they came back to Mpape community because he got information that people are again erecting fences and structures in the same areas that had earlier been demolished. Speaking to Signature TV, Caleb Albert, a resident, called on the government to put all necessary amenities in place to further avoid defacing the FCT.
You know, sometimes when they tell you they want to demolish a particular place, they extend it. So that is the fear we, the people that are living around that stone, upstone, that upstone going to Bakassi, that is the fear we have now. Are they coming to affect our residents, or is only the market they are coming to demolish? That's our fear now. So the government should help us, please, because they shouldn't just come and take us unaware. We don't know where we are going to take our properties and our children to. So they should intervene. This one, they said illegal structure, and now it's like it's not only illegal structure. So please, the government should come and assist us.
Lending his voice, another resident of the community, Yerima Musa Yao, said the move is a right one, but called on the government to take immediate action to build the roads to avoid illegal structures returning again.
The issue of Panteka, when we have the security, this federal capital, okay, it's not a state, it's not a local government. With the power of the security, they can penetrate and do anything. All right. So the issue of insecurity in this place, it doesn't mean anything. If the government want to tackle, they can. The Panteka issue is either in the night they operate. So the security should be everywhere in the federal capital, not only in the town or any other place. Even here, we are Nigerians, we are citizens of this country. Okay. So what I believe, if government want to come on this process, this is not the way, because in this particular time that everybody support this government, and that is why the government still existing. Okay, we could remember during the Jonathan era, so many things happens. Okay, in fact, it is because of the demolition era that made Jonathan to go. Let me tell you the truth, because we are also politicians. We are citizens here, and we are politicians, so we know what is going on. So the government should notify the president that we are coming in social process, not that they will start demolition everybody's places.
However, some residents of the community expressed worry that the demolition will further encourage thefts and illegal activities and make people more vulnerable to increased insecurity.
Now rebels, they do all those things. Understand, but no be say nothing like bad for Panteka. Now we the hustle for Panteka, and they don't want May person wants you, may just go tip now. As you don't come demolition our side now, more start to the tip now. Until they won't be that. Government not try for this way them do as for us. You understand? But we now we're not happy with this government. Seriously.
In Abuja, Brenda Etta for Signature TV.
Days after the official suspension of every Monday sit-at-home order issued by the members of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra in protest of the continuous detention of its leader, Nnamdi Kanu, many residents of the southeast still remained at home. Major streets of Anambra and Enugu states were deserted with shops, businesses and markets locked. A visit to Eke Oka Market in Oka Onitsha Main Market Monday morning in Anambra State saw shops under lock and key. The situation was the same in Enugu as Ogbete. New Heaven markets were locked and some offices deserted. There was a heavy presence of security operatives on the highways to ensure that exercise is not hijacked by hoodlums. And now to business. The Central Bank of Nigeria says the foreign exchange supplied for the importation of food products into Nigeria rose by 23.81% to $1.04 billion in the first half of this year compared to the same period in 2020. According to the CBN data on sectoral utilization for transactions valid for Forex, food imports gapped $840.18 million in the first half of 2020, down from 1.02 billion naira in the same period a year earlier. Although President Muhammadu Buhari had in September 2020 directed the CBN to stop issuing forex for food and fertilizer imports, data from the Apex Bank showed 709.07 million was utilized for food imports in the last quarter of 2020. The CBN's breakdown of sectoral utilization of forex showed that food imports accounted for about 10.34% of the $10.05 billion utilized for imports in the country in the first half of 2021. Amid the economic fallout of the COVID-19 pandemic, forex supply for food imports fell by 9.22% last year to $1.87 billion from $2.06 in 2019, accounting for about 6.5% of $28.46 billion utilized for import. On the foreign scene, the Taliban warned on Monday there would be consequences if the United States and its allies extend their presence in Afghanistan beyond next week. This is according to the Taliban spokesman Suhail Shaheen on Monday. The hardline Islamist takeover of the country last weekend shocked Western nations, coming just 2 weeks before an August 31st deadline for all troops to fully withdraw from the country. To manage the chaotic airlifting of foreigners in Afghan, many of whom fear reprisals for working with Western nations, thousands of soldiers have poured back in Afghanistan, with pressure growing on Washington to extend the deadline. But the Taliban, who have so far sought to strike a more moderate tone, showed no willingness to compromise on the US pullout. And now to the world of entertainment. Blessing Adejo will take us through. Over to you, Blessing.
Hello wonderful people, how you all doing? It's a beautiful Monday evening. I hope you guys are having an amazing time. Well, it's your girl Blessing Adejo. Welcome to another exciting episode of Entertainment News. Big Brother Naija lockdown housemate Dorothy Bacho has alleged that the armed operative of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission broke into her Lagos residence around 4:45 a.m. on Monday. The former housemate in the 2020 edition of the BB Naija television reality show took to her Insta story almost immediately after the alleged raid on Monday to narrate the incident. According to the Star, the anti-graft officials alleged broke into her house, saying they were after a suspected internet fraudster. She said the EFCC official identified her as the BB Naija star and left afterwards. The serial entrepreneur said her mother almost suffered a panic attack as a result of the incident. The ex-housemate also posted videos showing men in red uniform in her compound. It is indeed a period of joy and celebration for former Big Brother Nigeria housemate Kafi and Gidoni Ekbeta. The ex-housemate turned husband and wife have finally welcomed their first child together, and they couldn't contain their excitement as they shared the good news on social media. The new dad and mom took to their respective Instagram pages to share the news that they have welcomed their baby boy together. They both teased their fans with a cute picture of the mom and newborn as many flooded their comment sections with congratulatory messages. Congratulations to the Ekpetas, your joy shall forever be full. Nigerian singer Tiwa Savage shares a video of emotional moment she had with Brandy, her American counterpart. In the video, Brandy was seen tearing up after listening to the verse she recorded on Savage's highly anticipated song, Somebody's Son. The emotional moment spurred reaction from fans who took to Savage's comment section to express their anxiousness about the new song. Somebody's Son is one of the songs of the tracklist of Water and Gary, Savage's forthcoming EP. The new song highlights the romance experiences of Savage and Brandy, and it appears like the both told their individual truths, especially as it concerns their endurance in past relationships. And it's a wrap on entertainment news for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I remain your host, Blessing Natajo.
And now in sports, Liverpool is refusing to release Mohamed Salah for 2022 World Cup qualification duty. The Egyptian Football Federation has revealed, with the Red superstar set to sit out upcoming meetings with Angola and Gabon. The Pharaohs are due to be in first and second round qualifying action in September, but their talismanic figure will not form part of their plans. This is because Premier League heavyweights are following advice regarding the spread of coronavirus, while also being reluctant to see Salah forced into quarantine once he returns to Britain from international duty. Before we end the news, a recap of our major stories. The Resource Center for Human Rights and Civic Education, CHRICED, launched a 2-year project to address the age-long political, economic, and cultural marginalization of the original inhabitants of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. The National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies, in collaboration with the management of the National Assembly, organized a capacity-building workshop for parliamentary staff in the Senate to strengthen their capacity in legislative and administrative support. The Central Bank of Nigeria said foreign exchange supply for the importation of food products into Nigeria rose by 23.81% to $1.04 billion in the first half of this year compared to the same period of 2020. Remember, safety and security begins with you. Be patriotic. Report any suspicious activity to law enforcement agencies. Please do stay safe. And that's the Signature TV News update. On behalf of my producer, Blessing Adejo, I am Marvelous Obama. Thanks for watching.